Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I would like to do a response video to Jerodynamics, and he just did a video about Magic the Gathering's ban in the Commander format, all right? So he said that he collects these cards, and he said this is a mistake on the part of Hasbro. And I watched his video, and it was excellent. It was an excellent video, even though he was wrong. This was the correct choice from Hasbro, and so there was a back and forth in the comments. And so I'm going to say why I think Hasbro was correct to ban the 4 cards that were just banned in Commander format. So 4 very expensive cards were just, and actually these cards were banned, and the reason why they were banned is they're used in almost every single, if you can afford to use them in a Commander deck, you use them, right? And they're so powerful that they're almost ubiquitous, right? So these 4 cards were banned and are no longer allowed to be used in Commander. So this came out, and why am I talking about this? I'm a Dungeons & Dragons channel. Well, everything that happens on Magic the Gathering is specifically for Dungeons & Dragons, and every Dungeon Master and every Dragon Master should be concerned with what happens on Magic the Gathering, because Magic the Gathering is canon to Dungeons & Dragons, okay? I'll just leave that there, and then let me go on with the banned cards. So this is my response to Jerodynamics. So if you're here for that, enjoy. If not, feel free to move on. You'll find the link to Jerodynamics video below, okay? All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, so Jerodynamics came in and said, hey, Hasbro did the wrong thing. And the reason why is I'm not a competitive player, and I collect these, and I spent extra money to get the most blinged out versions of these cards, and then they come along and ban them, and now they're worthless, right? Or, I'm not saying they're worthless, but he's lost money. Let's just put it that way. And I'm going to say worthless, right? Because, frankly, they might be. Well, even that's a debatable subject. They've definitely lost. They're going to lose value because they're banned, because nobody can actually play them, right? So they went from hyperinflated values to near worthlessness. Okay, all right, and you can debate both those subjects, but you know where I'm going. You see the pattern, right? All right, so let's get into this. So I said to Jerodynamics, I was like, that's the right way, right? And the reason why is you're a collector. You should never be put in, your concerns should absolutely never be put in front of an actual competitive player's concerns, right? So there's a hierarchy. So Hasbro should be thinking about the following people whenever they make any Magic the Gathering decisions, okay? So here's the hierarchy, okay? First and foremost, Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Masters and Dungeons & Dragons Dragon Masters. And the reason why is we're the most important people in the world, bar none. That doesn't have to do with Magic the Gathering. That has to do, the only people who are more valuable than Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters in the world are people of faith, in my humble opinion. The Dragon Masters and Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters are literally the people who it is falling on the world to solve every crisis, right? We are the most important people in the world, and every single thing that happens on Dungeons & Dragons, the first people who should be thought of are Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters, because every single Magic the Gathering card is nothing but an unbound page of Dungeons & Dragons canon, in my humble opinion. Next, let's get into what regular Magic the Gathering people, everything I just said, none of the Magic the Gathering people even understand that or even acknowledge it, right? And that's okay. They don't need to. People can be wrong, right? Next, competitive players should be first in line for the decisions. They actually play. They get together on Fridays. They carry the game forward. They're the ones that establish value. Collectors don't establish value. They put something in a folder, and it sits there and does nothing. They should be considered last, right? If you like to hold a shiny card and look at it, honestly, that kind of nonsense belongs with Topps cards. That's ridiculous, right? The Magic the Gathering said, hey, let's not just get cards and put them in a stupid binder, right? That's absurd ridiculousness, because it has no purpose, right? It is literally just getting cardboard to get cardboard. It's silly, right? And it should. And here's my opinion: It ended in 1993. If you want to do that nonsense, go collect Topps cards. Why do you need to muddy the water of a game that of an actual functioning game, right? Like, you should be considered absolutely last. Now, with all that said, Jerodynamics is a wonderful person. I really like him. I watched his channel because I like his videos. He's a really smart guy. This one thing he does is wrong, in my humble opinion. All right. Okay. Next, he said, hey, Commander was created as a casual format. So why should there be banned cards in a casual format? Again, utter nonsense, right? Like, this is literally absurd. Nothing about Magic the Gathering is casual. There are no Magic the Gathering players who are casual, right? There's 50,000 cards in Magic the Gathering canon, right? Its rule book is literally hundreds of pages long. People study for months or years to become judges. Nothing about Magic the Gathering is casual. There are no casuals in Magic the Gathering. We use that term lightly, but the reality is if you're a casual, you will never even get near a game like Magic the Gathering. It is literally one of the most complicated games ever produced. It has no casuals. And Commander was never a casual format. So that's absurd, right? And now the idea that Commander is casual is utterly absurd because Commander and Modern have far outstripped Standard, right? Like, you can't even get a Standard game at most FNMs now, right? Friday Night Magic, right? So Commander maybe people thought it was casual for 5 minutes when it was EDH, right? But the second it went to Commander, it literally was like, hey, you little numpties can shuffle off, right? We're gonna play this for real now, right? And that's what Commander was. It was like, oh, I understand you guys thought this was casual. We just made it official. It is legitimately non-casual now, right? So one, I sound very wound up and adamant, which is just Scott Garibay. I love Jerodynamics' channel. You should definitely watch it. I think he's wrong on this subject, but I think he's a great guy and he's right on a lot else, right? So, and I love his thought process. Every decision he comes to, he thinks about it, and I love that. He's got a great channel. And so that is my opinion. And so basically the hierarchy should be competitive players should get their decisions first. Hasbro should prioritize them, right? And give them everything they could possibly give them, right? And then casual players are next. They're next in line. They get their dole out from King Hasbro. And then collectors should get nothing, right? And the reason why is they do nothing with their cards. If you want to buy a shiny card and put it in a folder and have it, you are wrong at every possible level, right? And no one needs that. No one needs that. Nothing should ever be done to help collectors. Utility is king. Collection is garbage, in my opinion. That's the whole of it, right? Now, I actually don't think Jerodynamic is actually a real collector because he kept saying, oh, I want to be able to use it if I want to, right? So that just means you're a casual player, right? So you might not even be categorizing yourself correctly, in my humble opinion. But I truly believe Hasbro should do nothing to encourage collectors. And the finance people, absolute last. That's below collector, right? If you're in Magic Gathering for finance, Hasbro should absolutely discourage you, in my humble opinion. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.